Welcome you to South Charleston, West Virginia for Game 2 of this 2023 Girls State High School Softball Tournament. One game already in the books, and that was a very exciting, thrilling game in which that John Marshall defeated Cabell Midland by the score of 3-2 in that game. Cabell Midland led 2-0 with 2 in the fourth. John Marshall got 2 in the fifth, and they put the game-winning run across in the top of the seventh to win that game by the score of 3-2. So John Marshall advances into the winner's bracket, and now Cabell Midland into the loser's bracket. Now we're getting ready for Jefferson and George Washington. Jefferson 21-6, winners of 9 in a row, and they've got they scored double digits in 11 of their games, so they put the ball in play and they do score a lot of runs. Jefferson. George Washington 21-11, and this is George Washington's first state tournament appearance since 2019. I'm Maris Lowry, and let's see, we are into the afternoon as we started that first game this morning, so we are now afternoon, and producing and directing this afternoon's game is Sydney Mayo. It's a beautiful afternoon here in South Charleston, as we are at a Little Creek Park, and they call this the Rock up here for this portion of where this girls class AAA game will take place. So this is the middle of 3 games. I think I am correct in saying that. I got so much paperwork here. There will be a third game, I do believe. Is that correct? Is there a third game after this? There is. That would be the 2 losers. Is that correct? I'm trying to see if I can get that taken care of. So anyway, I don't know if somebody's yelling at me. I don't know who that is about a name. So a name that I haven't even given yet. So I guess they're already jumping on me before I mess up their name. All right. So let's see who is the home team. So let's see who is the home team. Is Jefferson is the home team. Is that correct? Jefferson game that'll follow this. So 30 minutes at the completion of this game, Cabell Midland will come back to take on the loser, while the winner will advance tomorrow to take on George Washington's double elimination in the 3 classes. And we're here at Class AAA. I'm glad you're with us. Wherever you're watching from, here, streaming live here on Video Productions. So it'll be Atkins, Barton, and Holly will be the first 3 hitters up for George Washington, as there is a meeting at the mound. Not the mound, or rather home plate, I guess, going over some of the rules, or if there's ground rules. This is a beautiful facility they have here in South Charleston, and I'm fortunate that this is my 3rd girls state softball tournament in a row here, and it's an excellent facility. Well, we got a minute. I want to let you know about Doctors Joey Atkins and Michaela Gunner at Elk Family Dentistry. They are proud to support the 2023 West Virginia High School Softball Championships. Elk Family Dentistry specializes in family and cosmetic dentistry. Make your appointment today. You can call 304-965-6661. That's Elk Family Dentistry. They change lives one smile at a time. If you'd like to get to your business here on Video Production, you can. You can support your team by advertising with Video Productions. Video Productions is West Virginia's leader in providing high school sports. Mr. Butch Mounts, the executive director of Video Productions. So we're moments away from getting the ball game started. Out on the mound for Jefferson will be Harris. Harrison Franco is the battery, as Jefferson going through their final warm-ups, and we're moments away from getting the game started. Once again, it'll be Atkins, Barton, and Holly, the first 3 hitters in the top half of the first inning for George Washington. So George Washington just about, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes from here. And then you look at Jefferson making the long haul from up in the Eastern Panhandle, probably a good, 3.5, 4 hour drive for the folks of Jefferson. And George Washington, like I said, they can sleep in their own beds just right across the ridge over there, and they're ready to suit it up and play softball. So weather definitely has not been a problem. You know, I've been here, like I said, over the last 2 years, where at some point we've had rain. Either, I think 2 years ago, if my memory serves me correctly, one full day. The first day was completely rained out and had to come back and go make day 2, day 1. And then we had a little bit of rain at times last year. But I hope I don't jinx the weather, but listen, don't think I will. That doesn't appear to be the case. The one thing, too, as you're watching, as bright as it is out there, both teams wearing white. To think that maybe one of the teams would wear dark. But George Washington wears white, and Atkins steps in, and the first pitch of the ball game is swung on and fouled back, and we're underway. Glad you're with us here on Video Productions. George Washington, 21-11, and like I said, this is their first state tournament appearance since 2019. So it'll be Atkins, Barton, and Holly, first three hitters for George Washington. The Lady Patriots. This ball swung on a little pop, and it's going to fall. That's what they say, hit it where they ain't. And the ball just died right over the third baseman's head for the first hit of the ball game, and just like that, George Washington Atkins with the leadoff hit.
Now batting, number 21, Tylee Barton.
So Barton will now be the hitter, and she'll hit with a runner on and nobody out as we get the game underway. So Barton checks with her third base coach. Let's see what she elects to do here. And the pitch is over a called strike. They try to throw behind the runner. Actually, they do throw behind the runner, but the runner back in safely at first. So 0-1 the count to Barton with Holly on deck. And the pitch, a little bunt, and it's going to be foul ball. It's caught in foul ground for the first out of the inning. So Barton pops out to the first baseman.
Now batting, number 12, Passion Holly.
And Holly will now be the hitter. Passion Holly, the George Washington third baseman, will now hit. Harris on the mound for Jefferson. And the pitch swung on. This ball is popped up, and it looks playable. It is. It stays in play. The first baseman able to make the catch. That's a good job that time by the Jefferson first baseman to squeeze the play Allen for the second out of the inning. So after a leadoff single by Atkins, Barton and Holly have each popped out. And that will bring Tomlin to the dish. This ball swung on. It's popped up. It's into foul ground, and that's going to be back out of play over the dugout over on the first base side. So Natalie Tomlin, the hitter for George Washington, with 1 on and 2 out. And the pitch. Lays down a bunt. It is foul. For a minute, it looked like she's going to have a great bunt. It was going to stay fair, and I think if it would have stayed fair, she'd have beat that out. But all for naught, as it's a foul ball, and the count goes to 0-2. So if Tomlin can keep the inning alive, Armstrong would hit next. Here's the pitch swung on, and that's a rip foul. She got a good swing, good cut at it, and the count will still hold at 0-2. And the 0-2 offering. And that will miss. The count goes to 1-2. Tomlin, the cleanup hitter in the George Washington lineup. As Harris gets set for Jefferson, the 1-2 pitch swung on and missed strike 3, but the catcher misplays the ball, and everybody's going to be safe. So one of the craziest rules, I think, at least in baseball and softball, you get a strikeout, but the catcher cannot hang on to that third pitch, and therefore the inning will remain alive, and now George Washington will have runners at first and second and 2 out, and Armstrong will now be the hitter. So it goes as a strikeout, but yet Tomlin able to reach first successfully. And that'll be ball 1 to Addie Armstrong, the George Washington center fielder. First and second, 2 down. The pitch to Armstrong, swung on and missed. Count will even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Beautiful, gorgeous afternoon here at the Rock, as they call it here in South Charleston. The field is turf, infield and outfield both. So this pitch will miss, and the count goes to 2-1. George Washington with a couple of runners on, 2 down. The earlier game was a very interesting and exciting game in which John Marshall beat Cabell Midland 3-2. This pitch is hit right back up the middle, and that's through for a base hit. The runner will round third. They'll hold her up as the throw comes in. There's not much room to the backstop, from home plate to the backstop. So that's a single by Armstrong, and the bases are now loaded. So the inning was kept alive on the strikeout. When Tomlin struck out and the catcher dropped the ball, that allowed Armstrong to hit and got a single. So bases are loaded, and Wade will now be the hitter. So the bases loaded, 2 down. Wade swung on. Ball hit to right field. Right fielder back, up under it, and makes the catch. So George Washington, they get a couple of hits. They lead. The bases loaded in the middle of the first innings. George Washington, nothing, and Jefferson coming to bat. You're watching live streaming coverage of the 2023 Girls State Softball Tournament on Video Productions.
Hey, I'm Heather, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich is getting the perfect bite. It's probably not the first bite, it's the second or the third, with the juicy chicken and the delicious pickle. The bite with the pickle is it. I mean, that is like the magic combination.
Hi, I'm Jennifer. A little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich is the combination of the warm, soft bun against this delicious piece of chicken. The bun is just this soft little hug around the chicken that's so perfect in every bite.
Wilson.
And we welcome you back to South Charleston as we go to the bottom half of the first inning of this Class AAA Girls State Tournament game between George Washington and Jefferson. George Washington left the bases loaded as on that final out. That was Wade that flied out to right field to Graham.
Taylor Presley.
So it'll be Presley will lead things off, Taylor Presley to lead things off in the bottom of the first inning for Jefferson. It'll be Presley. Then it'll be Harris up next. So Presley will step in. She hits from the right-hand side of the plate. And Atkins on the mound for George Washington. And the pitch. And that'll miss for ball 1. So want to know the count. And here's the 1-1. Actually, that is 2-0. I beg your pardon. I said 1-1. That's really the 1-0 is now 2-0. I have the official scorekeeper to keep me in line over here. And heck, I know and she knows that I need it. There's a called strike. So the count goes to 2 balls and 1 strike, 2-1. To Presley. And the 2-1 pitch. Big cut and a miss. Count goes 2-2. And ready for the 2-2. Swung on, and that is slashed foul down the right field line. So 2 balls and 2 strikes is the count to Taylor Presley. And the 2-2. Swung on a comebacker, and it's going to get through. a base hit. So Presley leads off the bottom half of the first inning with a single, and now each leadoff person for George Washington, now Jefferson, will lead off their part of the first inning with a hit. And the leadoff man is aboard, and now it'll be Harris will be the hitter. Atkins is ready, and here's the pitch. This ball's hit to the first baseman. They make a play. It's a double play. That's a nice job by the first baseman, Wade, for George Washington to turn 2. So Dalton will now be the hitter, and she'll now hit with 2 out and nobody on. That was a very good play by Wade, the George Washington first baseman. So Dalton will be the hitter, and she'll now bat with nobody on and 2 outs. Ball 1. The winner of this game will get John Marshall. They defeated Cabell Midland in the earlier game 3-2 in a very exciting game. They were down 2-0 with John Marshall. They rallied to tie the game at 2, and then they pushed what turned out to be the winning run across the plate at the top of the 7th inning to win the ball game 3-2. 1-0 the count to Dalton, and here it comes. The ball is chopped over the third baseman's head into left field for a base hit. That's the second hit of the inning. So there's a 2-out single by Dalton. And now that'll bring Munslow to the dish. Jefferson, the defending girls AAA state softball champion, winning it last year in 2022. And trying to repeat here. So Munslow takes a ball and it gets away from the catcher, and that will allow the runner, Dalton, to make it easily into second base. So got a runner in scoring position. With 2 out. And here comes the 1-0 pitch to Munslow. And that'll miss for ball 2. And the 2-0 offering. That'll miss, and now the count goes to 3-0. If Munslow can keep the inning alive, Franco would hit next. So 3-0 the count. Let's see if Munslow will have the green light here on 3-0. Dalton, the runner, down at second. Here comes the 3-0 pitch. That's over for a called strike, and the count goes to 3-1. So 3-1 the count to Becca Munslow. And the 3-1 pitch. Swung on, that ball was hit down the right field line, giving chase to the right fielder, but runs out of room as the ball's in foul ground, and the count will run full. So the payoff pitch coming to Munslow. 3-2 the count. Dalton, the runner, at second, with 2 out here in the home half of the first inning. And here comes the payoff pitch. And that'll miss for ball 4. So now Jefferson will have 2 aboard with 2 outs. Runners at first and second. And Franco will now be the hitter.
Now batting, number 18, Christina Franco.
So Franco steps to the dish with 2 out and 2 on. Atkins on the mound for George Washington, and here comes the pitch. That'll miss outside. So Jefferson already with 2 hits in the inning, but they had runners doubled up on a nice defensive play by the first baseman Wade for George Washington. But since the double play, a hit and a walk has allowed 2 runners on, and this ball is hit to the third baseman. This should close out the inning, and it does. And Jefferson will leave a couple of runners, but at the end of 1, there's no score between George Washington and Jefferson. You're watching live streaming coverage of the 2023 Girls State Softball Tournament on Video Productions.
West Virginia Secondary School Activities Commission extends a special thank you to Field Turf, Suicide Prevention West Virginia, and the Charleston Convention and Visitors Bureau for their support of the WVSSAC tournament. There's now Husson's Pizza available in the concession stand.
Farmers and Mechanics Insurance knows West Virginia, and we understand how much all of our high school teams and athletes mean to the communities that we have served for more than 100 years. That's why we're proud of our partnership with the West Virginia SSAC. Their commitment to teach and promote sportsmanship and citizenship is the key to future success. Protecting what matters most to you. Farmers and Mechanics Insurance Companies, a proud partner of the West Virginia SSAC.
Now batting number 7.
As we welcome you back to South Charleston, West Virginia, I'm Maris Lowry. Sydney Mayo producing and directing here this afternoon on Video Productions. We're going to the second inning. No score between George Washington and Jefferson. It'll be the bottom 3 of the order due up for George Washington here in the second inning. It'll be Thomas, Stillner, and Kelly as Thomas leads things off. And she'll take ball 1. Winner of this game will advance to tomorrow to take on John Marshall. The loser will have to come back 30 minutes at the conclusion of this one and take on Cabell Midland. There's a called strike to Thomas. Just a beautiful, gorgeous May afternoon here in South Charleston. Got a little breeze going. Sun been out all morning, now into the afternoon as we play this 2023 Girls State Softball Tournament. Beautiful fields here is what they call the Rock at Kraft Park. Turf, infield and out. Counts 2-1 to Thomas. And the 2-1 pitch swung on. It's fly ball to left field. Left fielder's got a beat on the play. Goes over and makes the catch for the first out of the second inning. That's a nice play that time to left fielder Presley. She had it all the way in her sights. So 1 up and 1 down. And Stillner will now be the hitter.
Now batting number 8, Ava Sittler.
Sittler, I beg your pardon, will now be the hitter. And the first pitch is a ball. Want to know the count? There's a called strike, and the count evens at 1-1. State baseball tournament will be held next weekend. That'll take place at Gomart Park in Charleston. And there's a big cut and a miss, 1-2, and that'll be the final sporting event of the 22-23 school year. So the count's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Sittler will back out of the box there for a minute. And here comes the pitch. And that'll miss. The count's 2-2. Harris on the mound for Jefferson. And the 2-2 offering. And the count's gone full 3-2. And the payoff pitch swung on and fouled back. We'll do it again. 3-2. And the payoff pitch swung on. This is going to be a hit. It'll get down right in front of the left fielder. That's a good, solid hit. And that'll be the second hit of the ball game for George Washington. And actually, that'll be the third hit of the ball game, rather.
Addie Kelly.
And a nice, solid hit that time by Sittler. And Kelly will now be the batter for George Washington. So a one-out hit. Kelly hits from the left-hand side of the plate. Here comes the pitch. Swung on, and that will be fouled back and out of play. Count goes to 0-1. Here comes the 0-1 pitch to Kelly. She squares to bunt and fouls it off. And now count is 0-2. Kelly, the number 9 hitter in the order. We'll go back to the top of the order to Atkins, who has one of the 3 hits. Atkins with a hit, Armstrong with a hit, and Sittler with a hit. Excuse me, already 3 hits for George Washington here in the top of the second. And that pitch is high. Not 3 hits in this top of the second, but a total of 3 hits. 2 of them came in the first, and they've got 1 hit here in the top of the second inning. So the count's 1 ball and 2 strikes to Kelly. And here comes the 1-2 pitch. That swung on and fouled back, and that'll even the count at 2-2. And the pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3. So that'll be the second out of the inning. And we'll go back to the top of the order with Atkins up. She led the game off with a hit. Beg your pardon there. Straightening out my mic. So we now have a courtesy runner into the ball game.
Now batting number 27, Alexis Atkins.
So Atkins will be the hitter. She's 1 for 1. She led the game off with a hit. As she got a single, and then she was part of that double play that got her out on the bases with a nice defensive play by the Jefferson first baseman, Allen. So there's a runner at first with 2 down, and that runner is Sittler, who's got a hit in this inning. 2 down, Atkins now the hitter, and swung on. This ball is hit foul down the third baseline. Count goes to 0-1. And the 0-1 offering swung on, hit right to the third baseman. She'll make the long throw across the diamond, dug out by the first baseman, Allen, to end the inning. So there's a runner left and no runs across the dish for GW. Middle of the second inning, no score between Jefferson and George Washington. You're watching live streaming coverage of the 2023 Girls State Softball Tournament on Video Productions.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
The Health Plan is a proud partner with the West Virginia SSAC and has been your most trusted carrier for over 40 years. Log on to healthplan.org for more information.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for
And we're back to South Charleston as we go here to the bottom half of the second inning in a scoreless game between George Washington and Jefferson. So it'll be Allen to lead things off, and she'll take a strike for Jefferson. It'll be the bottom third of the lineup for the Lady Cougars of Jefferson. It'll be the 7, 8, and 9 hitters. It'll be Allen, Smith, and LaGreco. So here's the 0-1 delivery. And the count will even at 1-1. Allen, the Jefferson first baseman. And here's the pitch. That'll miss. Count will go to 2-1. Brooke Allen ready. Adkins, the pitcher for George Washington, she's also ready. And here comes the delivery. And this ball swung on and fouled back out of play down the right field line. And the count will even up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. So Adkins ready. And the 2-2 offering swung on. This ball's hit down the right field line, and it's going to be foul. No one's able to catch it, but the ball sliced foul and down into the corner. But as I mentioned, a foul ball. So the count will hold at 2-2. And here comes the 2-2 offering. And that's swung on and missed, strike 3. So that's out number 1
Now batting, number 25
of
for
the
Allen.
Jefferson second inning. And Savannah Smith will now be the hitter. Or beg your pardon, that was Cowan that was the hit. And I beg your pardon, it's Allen the batter now. So I beg your pardon, that was Cowan that struck out, and now Allen will step to the dish right now and called strike. So here comes the 0-1 pitch. Swung on and fouled, and the count goes to 0-2. So when I originally said it was 7, 8, 9, actually it's 6, 7, and 8. Cowan, Allen, and Smith. So I beg your pardon with that. Jefferson fans, please forgive me for that, as it was Cowan the one that struck out. And Allen is the hitter now, and she's in the hole at 0-2. And the 0-2 pitch, and that'll be ball 1. Count goes to 1-2. So Adkins is ready to deliver the 1-2 to Brooke Allen. And the 1-2 pitch swung on, missed, strike 3. Or are they saying it's strike 3? Yes, it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, just a reminder, please stay away from Metro News scaffolding.
So 2 up and 2 down by Aviva, the strikeout.
Little kids, everybody please stay away from the scaffolding.
And now Savannah Smith will now be the hitter.
Now batting, number 3, Savannah Smith.
So Smith will bat with 2 out, nobody on. Bottom of the second inning, no score. And here's the pitch to Smith. And that'll miss for ball 1. And here comes the 1-0. That'll miss to make it 2-0. We're in the bottom of the second inning. No score between Jefferson and George Washington. And I mentioned this in the first game, and that came true. Usually takes 2 or 3 runs. The way the pitching has, as good as the hitting has been for a lot of these teams, or the teams that make it here, the pitching a lot of times gets even better. And the good pitching has been able to shut down the hitting. As here's the pitch, and that will miss, and the count will go to 3-0. And where I'm getting at with this, that normally in the games that I've done over the last 2 years, and now the first game of this tournament, 2, 3, 4 runs a lot of times is good enough to get it done, and that was the case at the first game. 3 runs got it done, and John Marshall was able to win that one by the score of 3-2, as there's a 2-out walk by Smith. So Smith will draw a base on ball, make her way down to first with 2 down.
Now batting number 1, Alyssa LaGreco.
So LaGreco will now come to the dish. She's the number 9 hitter in the batting order for Jefferson. So at the moment, and I know we're only in the bottom of the second inning, but this game seems to be taking on perhaps the same role that the earlier game took, when he was really a couple of plays here and there, and that was the difference in John Marshall's 3-2 win in that first game over Cabell Midland. But right now, Atkins having a little trouble finding her way, as she's thrown her 5th straight ball, and it's 1-0 to LaGreco. And the pitch. Swung on that. It's hit foul. They called it foul, which it was. Immediately the home plate umpire all over it. And the smart thing to do, go through with the play, as George Washington did, but it was a foul ball. And that will even the count at 1-1. Very quaint facilities they have here. Swung on and missed 1-2. There's not a lot of room from catcher to the backstop, and I would say it's pitcher friendly, because it's got probably the right amount of foul ground that you should have probably for a girls' high school softball facility. But through the first game and now into the bottom of the second game, we've yet to see the ball leave the yard. Haven't had a home run yet. And this pitch is swung on and popped up into the infield, into foul ground. First baseman for George Washington comes over Wade and makes the play to end the inning. We played 2 innings of play. No score between George Washington and Jefferson. You're watching the 2023 Girls State Softball Tournament, streaming live on Video Productions.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
The Health Plan is a proud partner with the West Virginia SSAC and has been your most trusted carrier for over 40 years. Log on to healthplan.org for more information.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
I made it up.
Myself, sir.
Change anybody else? Number 16 is now pitching. Where's that go?
And we welcome you back to South Charleston.
21, Kylie Barton.
So we go here to the top of the third inning, no score, and we've got a pitching change for Jefferson. And let's see, their new pitcher is Becca Manslow, will come in on the mound. As this ball is a bunt laid in front of the plate, the catcher picks it up, throw to first, and safe. An infield hit. And the leadoff man is aboard, Barton, for George Washington.
Time out on the field, please. Blue. Umpire.
you give us all the changes? All of the changes?
So that's the fourth hit of the ball game for George Washington. Holly will now be the batter.
So where did the old pitcher go? Old pitcher went to third.
Now we've had some
Well, no, she's at third, so where'd the third baseman go? Yeah, but where'd the third baseman go?
some discussion of once they've now had a
So then where'd the
realignment.
second baseman go?
So we're ready to roll.
Where'd second go? Like, can somebody tell
I'm not sure that. I guess there's some discussion when they brought in the new pitcher as to who went where.
Yeah, they swapped out three positions and didn't say nothing to us.
The one thing now, the umpires are getting together because, they did not inform us. And the umpires do a great job, and let me just state that. It is not an easy job, and, I say this all the time. If anybody, and there are a lot of people that criticize umpires and officials, and I do numerous sports and have been numerous sports for, this is my 33rd year, and I tell you that it's not an easy job. And a lot of times the people that complain about it, they're never the first ones to be in line to be the next umpire or official in any sport, whatever the case may be. So right now there's some discussion as to the changes. We do know that they did make a pitching change, and Becca Munslow is the new pitcher. But that was an infield hit by Barton, and that's the fourth hit of the ball game for George Washington, and Holly will now be the hitter. But we've had a slight delay. Holly's 0 for 1 as she popped out to the first baseman
Now batting, number 12, Patrick.
back in that first inning. So I guess we got all that worked out. And after that slight delay, Holly will step to the dish with a runner on, nobody out, top of the third, no score. And the pitch, and that will miss for ball one. So 1-0 the count to Passion Holly. Here comes the 1-0 pitch, and that will miss, and the count goes 2-0. The 2-0 pitch, and that'll slightly miss, and the count goes 3-0. So 3 balls and no strikes to Holly. Tomlin on deck. And Munslow's ready in the 3-0 pitch. And that's a called strike for 3-1. And looked like that time Holly was taken all the way. Now this is a good hitter's count. Holly, a good hitter, the number 3 batter in the George Washington lineup. And here comes the 3-1 pitch. She squares the bunt and fouls. So the count goes full of 3-2. And really kind of surprised that she tried to bunt her way on. So now the payoff pitch coming with a runner at first, nobody out. And the payoff pitch swung on. This one's fouled back. Holly protecting the plate. Anything close, got to be hacking away. So got another payoff pitch coming. And here it is. And that'll be ball 4. So the first 2 hitters have reached for George Washington here in the third inning. Barton due to the hit, and now Holly due to the walk. And first and second and nobody out, and that'll bring up the cleanup hitter, Tomlin. Tomlin struck out, but the catcher dropped the ball and she reached. So she is 0 for 1. And she'll hit now with 2 on and nobody out. And she'll square the bunt, and it'll be outside for ball 1. So right here in the top of the third inning, George Washington's got something cooking with 2 on and nobody out. Scoreless game. And George Washington trying to draw first blood here in this girls class AAA semifinal game. The winner will take on John Marshall, who beat Cabell Midland earlier today. 3-2. The loser will draw Cabell Midland 30 minutes after this one's over. Here's a bunt laid down. It'll be a tough play for Munslow. I don't know if she's got a play. She doesn't. She throws the ball away. That's going to allow a run to score. And now they're going to get the runner out trying to advance, and another runner able to score. So on that play, George Washington plates 2. There's definitely an error, a throwing error, as Munslow really had the only one play. What was going to be a sacrifice. So 2 runs cross the dish for George Washington. Tomlin is out. And we would score that. That's an error, sacrifice, and an error. And that was kind of a wild-looking play, but 2 runs score for George Washington, and they take a 2-0 lead. So Armstrong will now be the hitter. She's 1 for 1, got a hitter last time up.
Now batting, number 22, Addie Armstrong.
So George Washington plates a couple here in the 3rd inning, and they have broken the ice with a 2-0 lead. So nobody on and 1 out. And ball 1 to Addie Armstrong. Munslow ready. Here comes the 1-0 offering. And that will miss. Count goes 2-0. The 2-0 offering. That'll be 3-0. So they made a pitching change this inning. And Munslow in relief of Harris. And it's been a little bit of a shaky 3rd inning for the defending champion Jefferson. George Washington out with a 2-0 lead, the 3-0 pitch. It's a called strike, and it goes to 3-1. So 3-1 the count to Armstrong, and the 3-1. And did she go? They're going to appeal, and the first base umpire said she did go around, so it's going to be a payoff pitch coming up. So it'll be 3-2 the count to Armstrong. 2 runs in for George Washington here in the 3rd. 1 out, nobody on. And here comes the payoff pitch. Swung on, that ball is fouled back. Back behind us, off to the right. So we'll do it again. 3-2. And here comes the 3-2 to Armstrong. And that'll miss for ball 4. So that's the second walk of the inning.
Now batting, number 13, Carolyn Wade.
So Wade will now be the hitter. And just 1 out. 2 runs already in for George Washington. Wade flied out to right, her only other plate appearance. She's 0 for 1. And she lays off that one for 1-0. In fact, the bases were loaded in the 1st inning when she flied out to right. So 1-0 the count, and here the 1-0 pitch, and that'll be a called strike. The count evens 1 ball, 1 strike. Munslow ready. And the 1-1 pitch. Swung on. This ball's hit to the second baseman. They'll go for the lead. They get the lead runner. They try to turn 2, and they do. That's a nice executed double play. And Jefferson gets out of the inning. But George Washington scores a couple of runs. And we're in the middle of the 3rd inning. It's GW 2, Jefferson nothing. You're watching live streaming coverage of the 2023 Girls State Softball Tournament on Video Productions.
West Virginia dairy farmers encourage you to power your potential with chocolate milk, the official beverage of West Virginia high school sports, and would like to wish all participants good luck in today's events.
Welcome back to South Charleston. It's a 2-0 George Washington lead as we go to the bottom half of the third inning. Sydney Mayo producing and directing here this afternoon. I'm Maris Lowry. Glad you're with us wherever you're tuning us in, streaming live on Video Productions. First pitch, foul down the third baseline. Foul ball, 0-1 the count. We're back to the top of the order, the number 1, 2, and 3 hitters for Jefferson. So Presley is the hitter for Jefferson, to be followed by Harris and Dalton. So 0-1 the count to Taylor Presley. And the 0-1 delivery. They're leaving it 1-1. The Elk Family Dentistry are proud supporters of the 2023 West Virginia High School Girls Softball Championships. The Elk Family Dentistry specializes in family and cosmetic dentistry. Make your appointment today. Give them a call, 304-965-6661. This next pitch is fouled back out of play. The Elk Family Dentistry, they change in lives one smile at a time. Video Productions. If you'd like to support your team, you can advertise with Video Productions. Video Productions is West Virginia's leader in providing coverage of high school sports. You can reach out to yours truly at area code 304-673-8594 for any marketing solutions at Video Productions. This ball is hit to the third baseman. Third baseman had it played right across the diamond. There's the first out of the inning. That was a really nice play that time by Holly. She had that played right as the ball hit right to her, and Presley is retired for the first out of the Jefferson third inning. You could also, if you're interested in advertising Video Productions, you can email me personally at Maris, M-A-R-I-S, Lowry, L-O-W-E-R-Y, 1962 at gmail.com. All right, one out, nobody on, and Harris will now be the hitter for Jefferson. She hit into that double play, her first at bat. She takes a called strike, 0-1. Two to nothing, George Washington in the lead. John Marshall beat Campbell Midland in the first game, 3-2. So the winner of this will hook up with John Marshall tomorrow, as this pitch will miss. The loser of this game will have to come back in 30 minutes at the conclusion of this game and play an elimination game against Campbell Midland. Right now, George Washington with the lead, but we've got a lot of softball left. 2-0 is the lead here in the third inning for the Lady Patriots. And here comes the 1-1 pitch. That'll miss. Count goes 2-1. Wind picking up, just got a little bit of breeze, but otherwise it's been, and even with the breeze, that just makes it that much better. I think the fans, the players, I think everybody would agree they'd much rather have a little breeze here through the ballpark than just that very hot, humid. And we normally don't get that kind of weather in West Virginia in this time of year in May. That's more June or July. There's a called strike. But as soon as I say that, that's probably what will happen. All the years I say, wow, this game is moving at a snail's pace, and then it does. Or if I say it's flying by, then it goes at a snail's pace. So the count is 2-2 to Harris, and here comes the 2-2 pitch. That swung on, that's hit the nice play by Holly, the George Washington third baseman. That ball was easy, could have took a big hop and over her head, and she's able to snag it, make the play, 2 up and 2 down. And if you hit the ball to the third baseman, you're going to be out, as she showed that in each of the last 2 hitters. So it'll be Dalton will be the hitter. She's 1 for 1, got a hit back in the first inning. She'll bat with 2 out, nobody aboard here in the bottom half of the third inning, and a George Washington 2-0 lead. First pitch will miss for ball 1. And the 1-0 delivery. That will miss also. The count goes 2-0. One thing about it, won't see any panic from Jefferson. They are the defending champion. Won their first girls state softball title, as I mentioned, a year ago in 2022. And here comes the pitch. This ball swung on. It's hit to the shortstop. Nice big hop. The shortstop able to make the play. And it's 3 up and 3 down. That's a good job by Kelly. So just like that, 3 up, 3 down. We've played 3. It's a 2-0 George Washington lead over Jefferson. You're watching live streaming coverage of the 2023 Girls State Softball Tournament on Video Productions.
Do you need money for college? The West Virginia
to the Rock here at South Charleston. Sydney Mayo producing and directing. I'm Maris Lowry as we head to the top half of the 4th inning, and George Washington with a 2-0 lead. And it'll be the bottom part of the George Washington lineup. There's a called strike, 0-1. It'll be Thomas, the hitter. Thomas, Sittler, Kelly. 7, 8, and 9 due up here for the Lady Patriots. George Washington with 2 runs in the top of the 3rd inning. And now we're now in the 4th, and they still maintain that 2-0 lead. Here's a solid base hit into left field. That's the 5th hit of the ball game for George Washington. And Kelly now 1 for 2. Or beg your pardon, Kenzie Thomas 1 for 2. As Sittler will now be the batter. Ava Sittler, she's 1 for 1, got a hit. I'm back in the 2nd inning. So 5 hits in the ball game for George Washington. Atkins with a hit. Armstrong with a hit. Sittler, who's coming to the dish now, with a hit. Barton with a hit. And now Thomas with a hit. They have a courtesy runner into the ball game. Well, there's so much to keep up with in softball with all the. They don't have pinch runners anymore. I guess they still have pinch runners, but I guess you really wouldn't need a pinch runner if you got a courtesy runner. But then again, I guess there is a reason for a pinch runner, and I'm sure there's rules that differentiate between a pinch runner and a courtesy runner. There's a called strike to Sittler. Another called strike, 0-2. Sittler squared a bunt that time. And the 0-2 offering. Swung on and fouled back. Count will hold it 0-2. Sittler back into the box, and the 0-2 pitch swung on. That's fouled back. Hanging in there at 0-2. 2 runs, 5 hits for George Washington. They lead the ball game here 2-0, trying to add more. They got the leadoff man aboard here in the top half of the 4th inning. And that pitch will miss, and the count will go to 1-2. The winner will advance and play tomorrow in the championship of the winner's bracket against John Marshall. Loser's got to come back 30 minutes after this game. Swung on and missed, strike 3, and Sittler is the first out of the George Washington 4th inning. Loser's got to come back and take on Cabell Midland 30 minutes at the conclusion of this ball game. This is George Washington's first girls state tournament appearance since 2019. And Jefferson, they won 9 in a row coming into this, and they've scored double digits 11 times this season. But right now they've got to think about defense and giving up no more runs, as that was a called strike. 0-1 to Kelly. The 0-1 pitch swung on a little tapper. The second baseman, they're going to tag out the runner, and that's all they'll get is 1. They won't turn 2, but they will get the lead runner. And that'll be a fielder's choice for Kelly. And with 2 out and 1 on, we'll go back to the top of the order. And Adkins will be the hitter. And she's 1 for 2, a hit in the first and grounded out in the third, or in the second rather. Grounded out to the third baseman in the second inning as she hits here now in the fourth. And the pitch. That'll miss for ball 1. So here comes the pitch. Swung on. This ball's hit to center field. The center fielder's got to play on the ball and makes the catch easily. That's a nice job by Cowan, and that will end the inning. So they get a hit. They leave a runner, and we're in the middle of the fourth inning. George Washington in front, 2-0 on Jefferson, as you're watching live streaming coverage of the 2023 Girls State Softball Tournament on Video Productions.
No matter what it is you need, you'll find it at your local Par-Mar store. From gas to grocery, snacks, and everything else you always seem to run out of, Par-Mar stores has it. Need more savings? Download the Par-Mar app and sign up for the Par-Mar Rewards Card. You won't only see our stores in your neighborhoods, you'll see us in your neighborhoods too. We are proud to be in your town and proud to be a part of the community. Come see us at Par-Mar stores, and remember, if there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon.
And we welcome you back to South Charleston as we go to the bottom half of the fourth inning. And Jefferson will have the middle of their order up. It'll be 4, 5, and 6. Munslow, Franco, and Cowan up. And Munslow leads things off. And this ball swung on a high chopper to the shortstop. Got that big hop and able to throw across the diamond. 1 pitch and 1 out. So just like that, Munslow is out.
Now batting, number 18, Christina Franco.
So Franco will now be the hitter. You wait for that big hop right here on this turf, and a good job that time by Kelly to wait for the hop, make the play. And there's 1 out, nobody on, and Franco now the hitter. Franco steps out of the box. And we'll take outside for ball 1. Franco grounded out to third, her only other plate appearance. She's 0 for 1 in the ball game. And the 1-0 pitch swung on. This is chopped foul. Count will even at 1 ball, 1 strike. George Washington with 2 runs in the top of the third inning. And as Jefferson bats here in the bottom of the fourth, that is the score, 2-0 in favor of the George Washington Lady Patriots. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Swung on and missed. The count goes to 1-2. Franco ready. Atkins ready. Atkins set. And the 1-2 on its way. And that's going to be a little high and way out of the strike zone. Count will even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. The one thing about playing the earlier game, especially when you win, you can relax the rest of the day and then just sit back and see who wins this one and know you're not going to play again until tomorrow. And that's the case for John Marshall. This was slapped back through the box and right up the middle of the field into center field for a base hit. So that's a 1-out hit, a good piece of hitting by Franco. And with 1 out, Franco is aboard.
Chloe Cowan.
Cowan will now be the hitter. That's the 3rd hit of the ball game for Jefferson. So Cowan will represent the tying run coming to bat here in the bottom of the 4th inning. And I think we've got a change here. The umpire's got it, but I'm not sure he's relaying that to us, and he is not. So we're ready to go. Cowan is the hitter. And this ball is hit foul to the right, 0-1. So 1 out, 1 on. Here in the home half of the 4th inning. And the pitch. That'll miss, and the count will even at 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Atkins gets ready for George Washington. And here comes the 1-1 offering. Swung on right back up the middle. That's another base hit. That's back-to-back hits right back up the middle. And right now, the defending champions have got something cooking. As Allen will now be the hitter. Strikeout victim, her only other plate appearance back in the 2nd inning. So runners at 1st and 2nd, 1 out. Number 7 hitter in the lineup, Allen, the first baseman, comes to the dish for Jefferson. So 2 on and 1 out. Jefferson down 2. And they do have the lead runner there in scoring position. And the pitch to Allen, and that will miss for ball 1. So right here is Jefferson's best scoring opportunity. They've had back-to-back solid singles right back up the box, right back into center field. Atkins ready, and here's the 1-0. And that's going to miss. It's going to be 2-0. So 2-0 to the Jefferson first baseman, Brooke Allen. And the 2-0 pitch. Swung on. This ball is popped up. The infield fly rule is called, so even if the catcher, or even if the pitcher, rather, Atkins doesn't catch it, but she does, the batter was automatically out anyway. So that's 2 outs. And it'll be Samantha Smith. She drew a walk back in the 2nd inning. So can she deliver with a big 2-out hit and try to get Jefferson on the board? Smith is the number 8 hitter in the lineup, and the pitch over for a called strike, 0-1. As I mentioned earlier, this is Jefferson's really biggest scoring opportunity right here. And they had 2 on with 1 out after back-to-back hits. But what a big out that was for Atkins to get Allen to pop out in the infield. And the pitch here, swung on, fouled at the plate. So Samantha Smith in the hole at 0-2. George Washington trying to preserve that 2-0 lead. Here in the bottom of the 4th, 2 on and 2 out for Jefferson. Smith in the hole at 0-2. As she digs in the right-hand side of the plate. And here comes the 0-2 offering. Swung on. That ball's hit to the second baseman. Very playable. Easy play to get out of the inning. So Jefferson threatens. They leave a couple runners, but they don't score. And at the end of 4, it's still a 2-0 lead in favor of George Washington. You're watching live streaming coverage of the 2023 Girls High School Softball Tournament on Video Productions.
You wear it every day, so let's make your smile a priority. Dr. Joey Atkins and the friendly staff at Elk Family Dentistry are here to help you have a smile you can be proud of. Dr. Atkins treats patients of all ages for preventative and cosmetic dentistry. Make your appointment today by calling 304-965-6661. Elk Family Dentistry, making your life better with a beautiful smile.
Farmers and Mechanics Insurance Companies are proud to partner with
And we welcome you back to South Charleston. Sydney Mayo doing an outstanding job producing and directing here this afternoon. I'm Maris Lowry as George Washington with a 2-0 lead as the Lady Patriots come to hit here in the top of the 5th inning. And this ball is fouled back, 0-1. As this will be Barton to lead things off. The 2, 3, and 4 hitters, Barton, Holly, and Tomlin for the Lady Patriots of George Washington. And the pitch. And that will miss. The count will go 1-1. So 1-1 the count. George Washington here batting the top of the 5th with a 2-0 lead. That one will miss. And the count will be 2-1. And here comes the 2-1 offering. That'll be a called strike. Count evens a 2-2. So Barton is 1 for 2. And this ball's hit. It's skied to the outfield. The center fielder's got a beat on it up under it. Squeezes it for the first out. Good job by Cowan. So now Barton is now 1 for 3. She flies out to lead things off here in the 5th inning. Holly will now be the hitter. We're in the top of the 5th inning. 2-0 George Washington leading over the defending champion Jefferson. Ball 1 to Holly. Holly's had a couple of really good defensive plays in the ball game, and she's also scored a run in this game. And 2-0 is the count. And the 2-0 pitch swung on. This ball was hit down the right field line, drifting foul, and it's out of play. So the count will go to 2-1. With 1 out, nobody aboard here in the 5th inning. And the pitch. And that'll miss. The count goes 3-1. Tomlin to hit next. And the 3-1 offering. And that'll be called strike. And the count's full now at 3-2. So here comes the payoff pitch. And swung on and just got a piece of it. And fouled back. We'll do it again. 3-2. And the payoff pitch. Swung on, fouled again. So we'll do it again at 3-2. And the 3-2 to Holly. Swung on, this ball was popped up, and it's going to be into foul ground. So that's 3 straight fouls, and we'll do it one more time at 3-2. Holly batting here in the top of the 5th inning. And the 3-2 pitch, that's a solid base hit to left field. So that was a good piece of hitting by Holly, and she's got a 1-out hit. And George Washington has its 6th hit of the ball game. And with 1 out and a runner on, Tomlin will now be the hitter.
Now batting number 1, Nat Tomlin.
Tomlin is 0 for 2. She struck out and got on when the catcher missed the ball back in the 1st inning, and she reached on an error back in the 3rd inning. So a 1-out single to left for Holly, and Tomlin the hitter now. And the pitch, called strike 0-1. Tomlin looks down at the third base coach, getting the signals, back in the box, the 0-1 delivery, tries to bunt that one. And did she lay off? I believe she did. And the count evens at 1-1. So the 1-1 pitch, tries to square to bunt that one and bunts it foul down the third baseline. Count will now go to 1 ball and 2 strikes. We're at the top of the 5th inning, and George Washington is out in front 2-0 over the defending champion Jefferson. And the pitch, swung on. This ball, the left fielder came in, and the left fielder will have to go back and had her played really right. She was very shallow, as Presley was in just really right behind the shortstop and able to make the play for the 2nd out of the inning.
Number 22, Addie Armstrong.
So Armstrong will be the hitter. She's got a hit and a walk, so she's 1 for 1. And she'll hit with one on and 2 out. And take a called strike. So 6 hits on the afternoon for George Washington. They've plated 2. They're leading the ball game 2-0. And the pitch, swung on. This ball's going to get through, a base hit to right center field. Holly will round third, on her way to round second, rather, on her way to third. The throw goes to third. She's safe. And now on the throw, Armstrong will go to second, and now GW will have 2 runners in scoring position. The 7th hit of the ball game for George Washington. A good piece of hitting by Armstrong. So Holly's at third. Armstrong gets a single and goes to second on the throw. And now Wade will be the hitter. Wade's 0 for 2. Put 2 big potential runs out there. This time that's a little blooper. It's going to fall for a hit. That'll get 1 run in. The left fielder fumbles the ball. That'll allow 2 runs to score. And now safe at second, and George Washington has added to their lead, a 4-0 lead. That'll be a hit and an error as the left fielder could not handle the ball cleanly. That'll be an RBI, 1 RBI for Wade. And George Washington has plated 2 here in the 5th, and they take a 4-0 lead. The 7th hit of the ball game, and George Washington They've matched the run total they got in the third, 2 in the third. Now they pushed across 2 here in the 5th inning, and they've opened up a 4-0 lead as Wade comes through with a big 2-out hit. So now there's a meeting on the mound, but that's good heads-up play by George Washington. As Wade got the hit and able to make it down to second on the throw. And George Washington with 2 runs here in the 5th to match the 2 runs they put up in the 3rd. They take a 4-0 lead. And with 2 outs, the batter is now Thomas. Thomas also has a hit. So there have been 7 hits on the afternoon for George Washington. And that's allowed them to push 4 runs across the plate. It's an error on the left fielder Presley for Jefferson that allowed the 2nd run to score. So George Washington with all the momentum right now, leading the ball game 4-0. And Thomas will be the batter. And the pitch. That'll miss for ball 1. So Jefferson's got some work to do. And first of all, they've got to get George Washington out of the inning. And then they've got work to do when they come to the plate. They'll have the 9, 1, and 2 hitters due up in the bottom half of this 5th inning. But like I said, that's a big, important run as that next pitch misses his ball 2. With Wade down at second. Jefferson trying to keep it at 4-0. GW looking for more. Swung on and missed. The count goes to 2-1. It's 2-1 to Thomas. If Thomas can keep the inning alive, Sittler would be next. Thomas backs out. Now she'll get in to the box and wait the 2-1 offering, and here it comes. And that's over for a called strike. The count will even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. And the 2-2 pitch. Called strike 3. They'll leave a runner, but the damage is done for George Washington. They push a couple more across in the 5th, and in the middle of the 5th inning, your new score is George Washington 4, Jefferson nothing. You're watching live streaming coverage of the 2023 Girls State Softball Tournament on Video Productions.
Little General Stores has been serving West Virginia communities for almost 5 decades. That's nearly 50 years of providing those essential needs for your daily journey. 18,250 days of fueling and feeding. We are so grateful to be a small part of your lives, and we want to recognize the integral part of our operation, the LG family. The managers who open early and close late. The cashiers who always have a smile. The bakers, sandwich artists, and cooks who keep our cravings at bay. The maintenance crew who work hard to fix problems as they arise. We know these last couple years haven't been easy, but with every sunrise and sunset, you keep us going. To the LG family, the moms, dads, sisters, brothers, sons, and daughters of West Virginia, thank you.
Back here at South Charleston as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning, and George Washington has opened up a 4-0 lead. Jefferson's got work to do as they got the number 9, 1, and 2 hitters up. And LaGreco will lead things off here in the bottom half of the 5th inning for Jefferson. So George Washington able to get 2 in the 3rd and 2 in the 5th and lead 4-0 in the ball game. And there's a called strike to LaGreco to lead things off here in the Jefferson portion of inning number 5. Winner of this game will move into the the championship of the winners bracket to take on John Marshall tomorrow. The loser will have to come back 30 minutes the completion of this game and take on Cabell Midland in what would be an elimination game. And unless Jefferson gets busy, that's going to be them. And that's a position that obviously nobody wants to be in. But the game isn't over yet. They've still got a lot of softball left, and this is a very good, obviously, Jefferson team. They wouldn't be here if they weren't. And it's a very good hitting team, but that hadn't been the case up to this point. And there's a swing and a miss for strike 2. As I mentioned earlier, out of the Jefferson was 21-6. So out of their 27 games, 11 times they scored in double digits. But they haven't really come close to scoring here this afternoon, as George Washington is out in front 4-0. So the count's 1-2 to LaGreco, and here comes the pitch, and that'll miss, and the count will even at 2-2. But if you're Jefferson, you just got to get base runners, no matter how you get on, walk, error, hit, whatever the case may be. But you got to have base runners, as they trail the ball game 4-0. And here comes the 2-2. And that's swung on and missed, strike 3. That's the first out of the Jefferson 5th inning. So 1 out, nobody on. We'll go back to the top of the order. Taylor Presley will now be the hitter. She got a hit first time up. Grounded out in the third. She's 1 for 2. And she will hit with 1 out, nobody on. And the pitch. That'll be ball 1. Comes the pitch. Over for a called strike. So the count evens at 1 ball, 1 strike. And the 1-1 pitch. Swung on and missed. The count goes to 1-2. And the 1-2 offering. That'll miss. Count evens at 2-2. So it'll be 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, nobody on. GW leading Jefferson 4-0. Yes, the Lady Cougars hit here in the home half of the 5th inning. This ball was swung on, hit to the shortstop. Nice play by the GW shortstop, but the throw is in time as it was on a 1-hop, but a good job by the first baseman, Wade, to dig it out from the throw by Kelly, and that's the second out of the inning. 2 up, 2 down.
Number 7, Shelby Harris.
So Shelby Harris will now be the hitter. And right now, everything's going George Washington's way. 2 out, nobody on. Harris to hit. And she swings and misses 0-1. She's 0 for 2. Hit into a double play and grounded out to third. So she hits for the 3rd time in the ball game. As I mentioned, 0 for 2. And now she's in the hole, 0-1. Atkins ready for GW. And here's the 0-1 delivery. And the loft speed, that'll miss. Count evens 1 ball, 1 strike. So 1-1 the count. If Harris can keep the inning alive, Dalton would hit next. 2 out, nobody aboard. And the pitch. That'll miss for ball 2. It'll be 2-1. George Washington got 2 runs in the third, 2 in the fifth. They lead it 4-0. That ball's fouled back to even the count of 2 balls and 2 strikes. You know, for the longest time, Hurricane had dominated in Class AAA. Hurricane had won in 2015, 16, 17, 18, and 19. They had won 5 in a row. This ball's hit Holly. Another play that she has made. She's made 3 nice defensive plays, and she makes one there as it's 3 up, 3 down. And we played 5 complete innings of play. Your score, George Washington 4, Jefferson nothing. You're watching live streaming coverage of the 2023 Girls High School Softball Tournament on Video Productions.
Hey, I'm Heather, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich is getting the perfect bite. It's probably not the first bite, it's the second or the third, with the juicy chicken and the delicious pickle. The bite with the pickle is it. I mean, that is like the magic combination.
Hi, I'm Jennifer. A little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich is the combination of the warm, soft bun against this delicious piece of chicken. The bun is just this soft little hug around the chicken that's so perfect in every bite.
I'm Maris Lowry. Glad you're with us here on Video Production. Sydney Mayo producing and directing here this morning and this afternoon. As we go to the top of the 6th inning, George Washington with a 4-0 lead as the Lady Patriots come to hit here in the top half of inning number 6. There's a big cut and a swing and a miss for strike number 1 on Sittler. Sittler's got one of the 7 hits. She's 1 for 2, got a hit and struck out. And the pitch swung on and missed strike 2. She's in the hole at 0-2. The winner will get tomorrow in the championship game of the winners bracket. We'll get John Marshall. The loser, 30 minutes at the completion of this game, will have an elimination game with Cabell Midland. There's a called strike 3. So the leadoff hitter is out on strikes, and that'll take us to Kelly, will be the hitter. She's 0 for 1. She struck out and reached on a fielder's choice. So there's the first out of the 6th inning. And Kelly, as I mentioned, will be the hitter. Takes a called strike. But no question, if you are Jefferson, you are at the point of the game where you cannot give up any more runs. But you just got to find a way to be able to get some base runners to have an opportunity to score runs. But being already down 4-0, and George Washington has played really good in the field by not giving Jefferson extra outs. The thing, if you're Jefferson, you cannot allow, as I mentioned, George Washington to score any more. Here's a fly ball to left field, should be caught and is. Good job by the left fielder Presley for the 2nd out of the inning. So there's 2 out, nobody on. We'll go back to the top of the order, and Atkins will be the hitter. Got a hit in the 1st inning and grounded out in the 2nd. And also made an out in the 4th with a fly out. So she's 1 for 3 on the afternoon. And the first pitch will miss for ball 1. This baller's a solid hit, which that's one thing George Washington has done in this game. That's their 8th hit of the ball game, and that's the 2nd hit of the afternoon for Atkins. So she's got a 2-out single. And that'll bring Barton to the dish. Barton's got a hit and scored a run.
Now batting number 21, Kylie Barton.
So Barton is 1 for 3. And when you look really at the top 3 really throughout their lineup, definitely the top three have really produced here this afternoon in this game. The top three hitters, Atkins, Barton, and Holly, have got half of the team's hits, 4 of the 8 hits between those three players. And they have scored 3 of the 4 runs that the team has scored. So the top half of George Washington's lineup has definitely produced here today. This ball's hit down the right field, on the shallow right field, but it's caught by the second baseman to end the inning. So we'll go to the bottom of the 6th inning. George Washington's in front by the score of 4-0. You're watching live streaming coverage of the 2023 Girls State High School Softball Tournament on Video Productions.
Farmers and Mechanics Insurance knows West Virginia, and we understand how much all of our high school teams and athletes mean to the communities that we have served for more than 100 years. That's why we're proud of our partnership with the West Virginia SSAC. Their commitment to teach and promote sportsmanship and citizenship is the key to future success. Protecting what matters most to you. Farmers and Mechanics Insurance Companies, a proud partner of the West Virginia SSAC.
And we welcome you back to the Girls State High School Softball Tournament here in South Charleston, West Virginia. Beautiful 75-degree afternoon, a little bit of a breeze. But right now, George Washington enjoying not just the weather, but enjoying the outcome on the field. They lead 4-0, but never count out the defending champion Jefferson, as they've got 2 more cracks at it as the Lady Cougars come to hit here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. So it'll be the number 3, 4, and 5 hitters due up for Jefferson. And that'll be Dalton will lead things off in the 6th inning. And the first pitch will miss for ball 1. Dalton got a hit. Back in the first. Made it out in third. She's 1 for 2. But Jefferson desperately needs base runners to try to cut into the lead. And there's a good start to the 6th inning for Jefferson. As soon as I say that, and that's obviously what they need. They need base runners. They get a solid single back up the middle by Dalton. That's her second hit of the ball game. She's 2 of 3, and now it'll be Munslow will now be the hitter. Munslow drew a walk in the first inning and grounded out in the fourth. She's 0 for 1. But Jefferson trying to make a rally here. The heart of their lineup up. And the pitch. That'll miss for ball 1. You would think down 4 runs that, Dalton would not be going to be running, going to be trying to steal or anything. You can't afford outs on the bases if you're Jefferson. You've got to have base runners. You've got to put the ball in play, make George Washington make the plays. And they have up to this point. There's swung on and missed. Munslow way out in front. They throw down to first. And if you're George Washington, you're just thinking, make the routine plays. Just keep everything in front of you. If you're Jefferson, you've got to try to find a way, whether you get hit by a pitch, walk, error, hit, whatever it takes, you got to get on. You got to have base runners. And this pitch will miss, and the count will go to 2-1. Through the first game and now through here into the bottom of the 6th, we have not had a home run yet in AAA. And I know a lot of times as a broadcaster, as soon as you say that, sometimes that happens. But we have not had a ball leave the yard here in this thus far here in day 1 here in Class AAA. And the pitch swung on. This ball was hit for a base hit into right field. So back-to-back hits. And that's exactly what Jefferson needs, as they need base runners. And like I said, they got a heart of a champion. You never want to count them out. And now runners at first and second and nobody out. And now Franco will now be the hitter.
18, Christina Franco.
So Dalton delivers with the single. Munslow delivers with a single, and now Franco will be the hitter. And Jefferson's opportunity to try to get back in the ball game as they trail 4-0 here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. So waiting for the pitcher, Atkins, to tie her shoe. Now she's ready. And Franco will step up to the dish. She's 1 for 2. She got to hit her last time up. She digs in. Atkins is ready. And the pitch. And that'll miss for ball 1. So 1-0 the count to Franco. And here comes the 1-0 offering. That's over for a called strike. The count evens at 1 ball, 1 strike. Two on, nobody out for Jefferson, trying to make a rally as they're down 4-0 here in the 6th. At the 1-1 pitch. Swung on and fouled at the plate. The count goes to 1-2 on Franco. So 1 ball, 2 strikes. Jefferson with back-to-back hits with runners at first and second. Nobody out. Home half of the 6th. And the defending champions down 4-0. Franco backs out of the plate. Out of the box, rather. From the plate. Just want to put the ball in play if you're Jefferson. And here comes the 1-2 offering. And that gets past the catcher, and both runners will advance. That's a huge play. Now 2 runners in scoring position. And more than likely, a base hit would cut the lead in half. So now runners at second and third and nobody out. A fly ball, if it's deep enough, would mean at least a run. So the count is 2-2 to Franco. And here comes the 2-2 offering. A called strike 3 on the inside corner for the first out of the inning. So Franco was called out looking, and that's the first out of the 6th inning. And with 1 out and 2 on, Cowan will now be the hitter. And here's the pitch. That's over for a called strike. So 0-1 the count. No question if you're George Washington, you would trade a run for an out. So, you know, a ground ball, you wouldn't have to come home. You could let the run score to get the out, should that be the case. That was a huge strikeout. And this pitch will miss, and the count will even at 1 ball, 1 strike to Cowan. 1-1, 2 on, 1 out, bottom of the 6th. The defending champions in a 4-0 hole, trying to rally. And George Washington trying to break through. This is George Washington's first trip to the Girls State Softball Tournament since 2019. And the pitch. And I'm not sure. I think he called that a ball. He did. 2-1 the count. And here comes the 2-1 pitch. That's going to be low, and the count's going to go to 3-1. So if Cowan should reach and first base is open, that means the tying run would come to the plate. And Atkins is ready to bring the 3-1. And here it is. That's called strike on the corner. The count goes full at 3-2. So the count's full, 3 balls and 2 strikes to Cowan. And a big pitch coming here. And here comes the payoff pitch. Swung on, the ball's chopped to the shortstop. She makes the right play to first to get the out there. A run will score, and no question you would trade an out. You'd give up a run to get an out if you're George Washington. But Jefferson does score, and they've cut the lead to 4-1, and now 2 outs in the inning. So nice play by Kelly, the shortstop for George Washington. And now Allen will now be the hitter for Jefferson. With 2 out, runner at third, a run in now for Jefferson. They've trimmed the lead to 4-1. And here's the pitch. And that'll miss for ball 1. Allen 0 for 2 on the afternoon. So 1-0 the count. Adkins set. Ready, and the 1-0 delivery. And that'll miss for ball 2, 2-0. If she can keep the inning alive, Smith would hit next. 2 out, runner at third, a run in for Jefferson, bottom of the 6th inning. George Washington in front, 4-1. The 1-1 pitch, over for a called strike. I beg your pardon, the 2-0 pitch, that makes it 2-1. So 2 balls a strike to Brooke Allen. Adkins back on the rubber. And here comes the 2-1 pitch. And that'll be short hop to the plate to make it 3-1. So if you're Jefferson, you need base runners. If Allen can get on, that would bring the tying run to the plate. And the 3-1 delivery. Swung on and sliced foul back out of play. So the count will go full at 3-2. So 3 balls, 2 strikes to the Jefferson first baseman, Brooke Allen. Adkins is ready for George Washington. Here comes the payoff pitch. Swung on. This ball was skied into shallow left field. The shortstop back. Kelly to make the play to end the inning. So Jefferson scores 1, leaves 1, and at the end of 6, it is George Washington 4, Jefferson 1. You're watching live streaming coverage of the 2023 Girls State Softball Tournament, streaming live on Video Productions. We're going to the top of the 7th inning, and George Washington has a 3-run lead, a 4-1 lead over Jefferson. As Jefferson able to push a run across in the bottom half of the 6th inning to make it 4-1. And George Washington, as we start the 7th inning, there's ball 1, as it'll be Holly will be the hitter. And like I had mentioned earlier, the top of the order has really done work for George Washington. They have really produced in this game. As here's a pitch fouled back, and the count will even at 1-1 strike to Passion Holly, leading things off for George Washington. Takes a called strike. The count goes to 1 ball, 2 strikes. So it'll be 3, 4, and 5. Holly, Tomlin, and Armstrong due up here for George Washington at the top of the 7th inning. This ball is fouled back. And the count will hold at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Got a little breeze coming through now here. It's really been a gorgeous morning and afternoon here at the Girls State Softball Tournament in South Charleston. And that pitch will miss, and the count will leave it at 2-2. Munslow ready, the 2-2 pitch swung on. This is back through the box, but a nice play by the shortstop to get it from going through as a hit and make the play. That's a nice job by the shortstop for Jefferson, and that's the first out of the 7th inning as Holly is retired on a ground out. So 1 up and 1 down in the George Washington 7th inning, and Tomlin will now be the hitter. First pitch will miss for ball 1. Ball slapped foul. In right into the stands, right down the third baseline. You really had to be alert for that one. So the count evens up at a ball strike here in the 7th inning of a 3-run lead for George Washington at 4-1. This ball's hit to the third baseman. The throw across the diamond in time for the 2nd out of the inning. So 2 up and 2 down for GW here in the top of the 7th inning. And that'll bring Armstrong to the dish. Got a hit, scored a run. Actually, she's got a couple of hits. She's 2 for 2. Got a hit, drew a walk, got a hit, and scored. So Armstrong's been a big part of George Washington's afternoon to this point of the 4-1 lead, and she'll take inside for ball 1. If you look ahead to the bottom of the 7th inning for Jefferson, he'll be at 9. They will be at, it'll be 8, 9, and 1 will be the 3 hitters due up for Jefferson. Smith, LaGrego, and Presley. Counts now at 2 balls and a strike. And the 2-1 pitch. That may have hit her, but I guess not. I think she didn't hit her where she kind of drew the bat back. Armstrong had hit the bat. That'll be a foul ball, make it 2-2. So 2-2 the count, and that pitch will be inside for ball 3. So here comes the payoff pitch. And swung on and fouled back, and we'll do it again. And the payoff pitch swung on, comes right back to the pitcher, and the throw was Munslow will field it, throw to first. In the inning, going to the bottom of the 7th, George Washington 3 outs away from advancing. As in the middle of the 7th, it's George Washington 4, Jefferson 1. You're watching live streaming coverage of the 2023 Girls State Softball Tournament on Video Productions.
No matter what it is you need, you'll find it at your local Par-Mar store. From gas to grocery, snacks, and everything else you always seem to run out of, Par-Mar stores has it. Need more savings? Download the Par-Mar app and sign up for the Par-Mar Rewards Card. You won't only see our stores in your neighborhoods, you'll see us in your neighborhoods too. We are proud to be in your town and proud to be a part of the community. Come see us at Par-Mar stores, and remember, if there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon.
Dentistry. We're going to the bottom half of the seventh inning, and it's a 4-1 lead for George Washington. They are 3 outs away from sending the defending champions to the losers round, which would be 30 minutes after this game, and it will be Cabell Midland taking on the loser, while the winner will be able to kind of put their feet back up and wait till tomorrow, as they'll take on John Marshall tomorrow. But Cabell Midland, who lost 3-2 to John Marshall this morning, will take on the loser of this one. And unless Jefferson rallies with at least 3 runs in this inning, it will be Jefferson. And the first pitch is hit to the second baseman, 1 pitch and 1 out. And just like that, Smith is retired. So 1 pitch and a ground out to the second baseman. And LaGreco will be the hitter. She's 0 for 2. George Washington 2 outs away from a date with John Marshall tomorrow. And the pitch. Misses for ball 1. And here comes the 1-0. That's a comebacker right to the mound. That should be an easy play, and it is. And there's 2 down and just 1 out away for George Washington of getting this win
Now batting number 2,
and advancing to the championship round of the winners bracket tomorrow. So down to their final out. Taylor Presley will be the hitter. 2 out, nobody on. It's a 4-1 George Washington lead. George Washington got 2 in the third, 2 in the fifth. Jefferson able to push a run across in the bottom of the 6th inning. And right now, the defending champions in this game down to their final out. Ball 1 to Presley. And this pitch will miss for ball 2. And 2-0 delivery swung on. That ball's hit into right field for a base hit. So Jefferson stays alive as Presley delivers a single. And if you're Jefferson, that's what you need is base runners. So Harris will now be the hitter. So a runner at first and 2 down. Of course, the run at first doesn't really mean anything unless that runner gets to second. They add a runner to first. There's a called strike 0-1. Well, you know, they always say the last out's the hardest one to get. And, of course, a team like Jefferson, with the quality of team they have, they're just not going to go lying down. You're going to and here's the ball's hit to the third baseman, and that'll do it. The throw across the diamond, and that's a great job by Holly. She's played a great game on both the field and at the dish, but especially in the field, and that will be the ball game. Your final score, George Washington has defeated Jefferson by the score of 4-1. We'll take a quick break, come back and have a quick wrap-up. You're watching live streaming coverage of the 2023 Girls State Softball Tournament on Video Productions.
Little General Stores has been serving West Virginia communities for almost 5 decades. That's nearly 50 years of providing those essential needs for your daily journey. 18,250 days of fueling and feeding. We are so grateful to be a small part of your lives, and we want to recognize the integral part of our operation, the LG family. The managers who open early and close late. The cashiers who always have a smile. The bakers, sandwich artists, and cooks who keep our cravings at bay. The maintenance crew who work hard to fix problems as they arise. We know these last couple years haven't been easy, but with every sunrise and sunset, you keep us going. To the LG family, the moms, dads, sisters, brothers, sons, and daughters of West Virginia, thank you.
Yeah, I recall it in there. I recall it. Just tell me when we're ready, Robbie, and I'm ready to roll. We welcome you back to South Charleston, putting the final touches on this George Washington victory as George Washington has defeated Jefferson by the score of 4-1. George Washington got 2 in the third, 2 in the fifth to take a 4-0 lead. Jefferson was able to push a run across in the sixth to make it 4-1. Unofficially, the line score, George Washington, 4 runs, 9 hits, and 1 error. Jefferson, one run, 7 hits, and 2 errors. The final line score is brought to you by the Elk Family Dentistry. At Elk Family Dentistry, they are proud to support the 2023 West Virginia High School Softball Championships. Elk Family Dentistry specializes in family and cosmetic dentistry. Make your appointment today by giving them a call at 304-965-6661. The Elk Family Dentistry, changing lives one smile at a time. Also, the fine folks here that I work for, Video Productions. You want to support your team, you can advertise with Video Productions. Video Productions is West Virginia's leader in providing coverage for high school sports. You can contact me personally, Maris Lowry, by phone, 304-673-8594, or you can reach out to me by email, which is Maris, M-A-R-I-S Lowry, Lowry, 1962 @gmail.com. All right, so both the first 2 games are in the books. Final score of the earlier game was 3-2 in favor of Jefferson over John Marshall. And in this game, it is, beg your pardon, over Cabell Midland. John Marshall over Cabell Midland, 3-2 in the first game. And then this game here, George Washington, a 4-1 winner over Jefferson. So we'll have a break, and coming up in about 30 minutes, we'll have Jefferson taking on Cabell Midland, which will be an elimination game. So for our producer and director this morning and this afternoon, Miss Sydney Mayo, I'm Maris Lowry, repeating the final score, 4-1 in favor of George Washington. We'll talk to you in about 30 minutes when it'll be Jefferson taking on Cabell Midland.